Hey, hi everyone. So, congratulations to Novak Djokovic on winning his 24th Grand Slam title and his return back to the world number one ranking. So, another amazing match in yesterday's US Open final. Djokovic and Medvedev, as we expected, long rallies, bruising strokes, and a few points here and there decide the match. Now, if you look at the score line, and we'll get into that in a moment, but what we'll try to cover in this video is the statistics from the match. We'll look at the key moments, key factors that caused the result, like in Djokovic's favor, and also what is the significance of this match, and what does it show about Djokovic, and what does he need to do to continue winning slams in this way. So we'll look at all of these. We'll also talk about Medvedev and his tactics and what he could have done better. So let's start off with the scoreline. If you see, it looks pretty straightforward on paper. 6-3, 7-6, 6-3 is a straight sets win, but it's far from that, right? So if you saw the match, it was more than 3 hours. The second set was very important. Djokovic was visibly tired, exhausted in that set, and Medvedev had upped his game. He was serving well, he was playing well. So if it would have become a set all, anything would have happened in this match, right? So close match, even though if it is straight sets, it doesn't show you the full picture. So it was indeed a close match. Now let's look at the statistics. So, and the courtesy is usopen.org, from where I just took the statistics. So as you can see, uh, if you watch the whole match, I think Djokovic started off well, relatively well, and better than Medvedev in terms of serving. But then Djokovic's serving level dropped a little bit, and it was the opposite for Medvedev. So he started off really badly. I think in the first 3 or 4 games, he was making only like 30 or 35% of first serves in. But then after that, he started playing well, and he improved on his serving percentage. So overall, if you see, Medvedev had a better serving percentage, 65% on first serves, whereas Djokovic had 54%, and the win percent on the first serve, Djokovic was better. It was 81% for him. And Djokovic was also better on winning the second serve points, which was a crucial stat at 54%. That is a very, very good statistic. If you are able to win more than 50% of the points on your second serve and more than 80% on your first serve, now that is a great, great statistic, right? And the important point, if you see the winners to unforced errors, it's surprising for me that Djokovic hit more winners than Medvedev, because I thought Medvedev would probably try to be more aggressive and go for his shots. Maybe that was because of Djokovic's defense, that he was able to track down a lot of balls, which he didn't do in 2021 because he was like tired from his previous matches or the complete season. So whatever the reason was, but in this match, Djokovic was able to hit more winners and a good ratio between winners and unforced errors for Djokovic. Not so much for Medvedev, but again pretty close. Total number of points plus 20 for Djokovic. So again, just shows you that it was still a very close match, an even match. And so these are the statistics. And one more important statistic was on the rallies. So if you talk about rallies, as you can see the last row, the number of volley winners that Djokovic hit, like 9 forehand, 6 backhand, that is an amazing stat. And if you see the complete match, you would know that there was a very important moment in the second set where Djokovic was facing a break point. He was tired, he was exhausted, and he just came to the net to serve and volley, and he hit a very, very good half volley pickup shot, which resulted in him saving the break point. I think that was the key moment on in the match. And overall, I think he came to the net a lot of times. I think it was around 40 to 50 times, and he was able to win a lot of those points. So that just shows that he's able to adapt to his sort of non-natural playing style. He is able to come to the net when he has to, and he played some really good volleys. So he did miss one or two here and there, but overall, I think it was a great strategy that he applied. And having seen Medvedev standing so far back behind the baseline, I think that was really important for Djokovic to take advantage of. And Medvedev accepted this and mentioned that in the press conference that probably he shouldn't have been so stubborn and he should have sort of changed his position on the service return, but he didn't do that, and that definitely helped Djokovic. So rest of the winners are like split between the two players, but this is one point that I did want to make on the volleys. So that was really impressive by Djokovic. Now, as I mentioned about the key shots and moments, as you can see, the score line here is the second set 3-4, 1 point, and Medvedev would have been serving for the set. He was playing absolutely brilliantly in the second set. He was moving well, hitting a lot of good shots. He was not tired. He was serving well. Djokovic, on the other hand, was not able to sustain the rallies. So there was one rally which lasted around 35 shots, I think, in the second set, midway in the second set, and that after that Djokovic really looked tired and exhausted, and he was not able to play the same for the next 5 or 6 games, and this was one of those games. So I really think that if Medvedev could have taken this point, things would have been different and the match would have been a lot more interesting and closer for in terms of Medvedev's perspective. And if you see this shot, this was a very impressive pickup from Djokovic, a half volley pickup here to hit the winner. And because Medvedev, as you can see, is standing so far back behind the baseline to return the serve, it clearly opens up a way for serve and volley, and Djokovic did well to recognize that and use that to his advantage. Now, another key shot or key moments, or I would say the strategy that Djokovic should have applied earlier was to be more aggressive. Now, we saw that after the second set, or like during the second set, and also in the third set, Djokovic was not 100% okay physically. He was tired, struggling. So, he did make an effort to play a bit more aggressively, and that really helped in his favor because then Medvedev also started feeling tired a little bit, and Djokovic was hitting his backhands really well. If you see this point, it was 30 all on Medvedev's serve, important point, and Djokovic was not afraid to take his chances. So he hit one great cross-court backhand, as you can see on the number one line here, and it really pulled Medvedev out of the baseline and just near the sideline. And then Djokovic again hit a great backhand down the line, which is his favorite shot. So it just shows that when he plays aggressive, when he tries to go for a winner, he is almost unbeatable. So that is why I feel that he should play more aggressive, Djokovic, if he wants to continue to win these sort of matches. So let's talk about the key factors. The number one is Djokovic's serve and volley tactic. I think that was the decisive factor in the match. The reason being because he was visibly tired in the second set, and Medvedev, I felt, was playing better from the baseline. He was controlling the points, he was moving better, he was hitting the shots with a lot of power. So I feel something had to change for Djokovic, and the fact that he always had that cushion to go for a serve and volley and get some free points, which he did, that really made a difference. If he would have had to sort of win every point in his serve through a rally, things would have been different and very different. But I think because of the serve and volley tactic, and because Medvedev did not change his position, Djokovic always knew that if he could serve out wide on the deuce court and pull Medvedev out of the sidelines, he could probably get an easy volley to hit. He even tried that on the ad court and succeeded. He even tried it on the second serve and succeeded. So definitely this was the key factor for me. And secondly, Djokovic's mental strength. Now, if it was anyone else, I think second winning the second set would have been so difficult for that player. But Djokovic stood firm and somehow just did enough to win the second set, and then obviously winning the second set gave him a lot of confidence, and then it was all Djokovic in the third set, right? So this we have already covered. Djokovic's ability to come to the net, I think it has always been there. It's just that he is still reluctant to try out, but he showed great courage in this match and appreciate that a lot. I think that would give him a lot of confidence for his upcoming matches where he has to play aggressive. He needs to play aggressive. He will feel that he has greater chance to be positive and successful at the net. Djokovic's backhand down the line was working from point one. If you see the initial phases of the match, he was changing direction very effectively between his like between the ad court and the deuce court. He was trying to hit good backhands down the line, which kept Medvedev guessing on which way he would go. He also used the slice to a good extent, a lot of slices, if you can see, and he changed direction on the slices. I mentioned this in my preview, the previous video, that he has to change directions and use the slice just like Rafa had used against Medvedev in the Australian Open, and he did that. And although like he wasn't that successful, but he used that shot as a construction or a constructive point. So definitely it helped Djokovic to neutralize a lot of the big shots hit by Medvedev, and also gave Djokovic chance to construct the point better. As we have already discussed, Medvedev's position on the return of serve was not good. He was standing so far back behind the baseline, even against Alcaraz. Although he won the match, he did struggle on that shot, and Alcaraz was able to make a lot of volleys. So it gives free points to the servers, right? So I think definitely he should have changed his position, but then that's how he plays, and like credit to Djokovic for taking advantage of that strategy and winning a few points. Now, Medvedev's passing shots were not up to the mark, to be honest. And whenever Djokovic came to the net, it was not like always like Djokovic had a very good approach shot. No, that wasn't the case. But Medvedev somehow was giving or passing the ball back to Djokovic instead of hitting like great, powerful winners like we have seen him do in the past. So definitely something that was not completely working for him that day, might have added to the fact that he was standing so far back behind the baseline. It was difficult to hit passing shots from there. So yeah, that could also be the point. Now, Djokovic's fitness drop in set two and set three, definitely that was a key factor, and it would have been a decisive factor had he lost the second set. But I think he kept his composure, and because of his mental strength and just playing good enough on the important points, was able to see him through the match. Now, decisive moment is the second set tiebreak and the break point that I've already mentioned. Even in the second set tiebreak, I think it was really close, lot of big rallies, good points, and I think Medvedev had got an early break in that tie break, but then he made an unforced error. I think it was 3-all or 4-3, something like that. So a crucial point, it could have been 5-3 or who knows 4-2 at that point. And Djokovic was like it was a close tie break, so anything would have happened. But again, I think that was decisive because the set, I think, went over 100 minutes. So obviously it would have a great impact on the outcome of the match when we have such long sets. So, and even more so for Djokovic, who was struggling physically or seemed to be struggling physically in the second set. So I think for me, second set tiebreak was the crucial point. Now, a lot of good things to learn from this match. First is that Djokovic is still in good form. He has proven that time and time again. He has won three out of the four majors this season, and even on the fourth major, he just lost by one set. So overall, his performance has been have been brilliant. He is moving well. He showed that yesterday, even though he was tired, but he was moving really well, controlling shots both from his forehand wing, backhand wing. He was able to come to the net, so he's still in very good form, and I think if he continues to play like this, he'll have many more chances to win more Grand Slams. Now, as I mentioned, that even though Djokovic won this match, uh, but as you saw, right, he was struggling physically in the second set, and that gives an indication that probably there is a slight adjustment that he needs to make. I think the same was done by Federer and Nadal when they realized that they could not continue to rally from the baseline. They have to be more aggressive. Nadal, I think, for example, has done so many changes to ensure that when he goes into the US Open, he plays very aggressive, goes for his forehand down the line, and then comes to the net. So that has helped him a lot, and something which I think Djokovic should also try to inculcate in his strategy and tactics to be more aggressive. Because just imagine if he would have not gone for a 35 stroke rally in the moment, right? He would have maybe pulled the trigger sooner, maybe on the 10th shot or 12th shot, and the point would have been over. win or lose, regardless of that, I think it would have been physically not that taxing as it turned out to be, and it could have impacted the future of the match, right? Because you have to sustain the same level for 4 hours, 5 hours. It's not easy. So probably I think some trade-off would need to be made by Djokovic in his upcoming matches, because it would be difficult for him to continue to play like this all out, defensive mode against any players, because the youngsters would have more power. They would be reluctant to sort of give away any point. So Djokovic would have to be the aggressor and would need to try to finish off the point, which he is, by the way, very good at doing when he plays aggressive. I have mentioned that already, that he is almost unbeatable. So he should try to change this approach, be more aggressive, try to go for his shots. He has such a great angled backhand cross court, which opens up the court for him, and then he can rely on his forehand. He can come to the net as well. He's got a good serve. So a lot of things going for him, just a slight adjustment in the strategy, and he could win many more Grand Slams. And obviously, one more thing was to never count Medvedev out of any match. I think he has proved his points so many times that even in the second set and in the third set when he was a breakdown and he managed to break back again, and he was showing some positive gestures to his box. I really thought that anything could happen from here also, because Medvedev is a man who has come back a lot of times. He did that against Rafa, I think, in US Open a few years back, although he lost in the fifth set. But he's a player who's very unpredictable, and he can do anything on court. So never count Medvedev out of any match. And I think he tried his best. So full credit to him as well on playing an amazing tournament. And yeah, I think US Open, Medvedev always performs well. So probably he'll get many more chances to win here. And definitely something to improve for Medvedev would be, first of all, to change his position on the serve. If he still likes to stay back, probably he can mix it up a little bit, standing behind for some time, and then just to figure out what is working, and also try to come to the net more often. Same strategies as we have for Djokovic, but for Djokovic is big. It's just because he is 36 and it's not easy for him to sustain the baseline play. For Medvedev, it is just about winning against the better players. If he has to win against the top guys like Alcaraz or anyone else, he has to play better than himself, as he did. So he'll have to try some new things, come to the net more often, take more risks, and then finish off the points. So the significance of this victory for Djokovic, obviously, it's his 24th Grand Slam title. He ties the record with Margaret Court for the most Grand Slam titles. He also moves ahead of Nadal by a tally of two, and also ahead of Federer by four. So again, the debate, I think, should be over by now. Djokovic does look to be the greatest player of all time based on his tremendous accomplishments and records. And at 36, he's able to compete at a very high level against the likes of Alcaraz, who is the future of tennis, is playing really well, won number one previously, and now it would be Djokovic. Then we also have the likes of Medvedev, Zverev. All are good players, and to play against them, compete at the highest level, and be able to win 3 out of 4 slams in the year at the age of 36, I think that is an incredible achievement. Yeah, he's back to the world number one ranking, and if he continues to play a lot of the smaller tournaments that are pending in this year, I think he has great chances to finish the year as the number one. And obviously, he is still the man to beat and the greatest of all time. So that's it, guys. I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.